Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
What? You keep reaching over there to grab all your controls that used to be there for the first 5 years.
There's nothing over here. But anyways, it's always a good time when Steve is the voice of reason in a phone call. Yes. Yeah. So that's a fun time. We're going to be catching up with Mark Elliott here in a little bit. We're going to be talking with Tim Clark Jr. as we get ready for the Bash for Cash. We've got the lineup cards that were released this week for the Bash for Cash, and we're going to be able to dive into that a little bit. Hopefully everybody had a good week.
Or two.
Yeah. This was very exciting the last 13 days or so. Last week I missed, and when I went to the doctor, I had a skinny Q-tip shoved up to the frontal cortex of my brain. Everything checked out okay there, but they said that it was probably just a viral sinus infection. As you can tell, it's still hanging around. And they said that it would have to hang on for 5 or 6 days before they were going to worry about doing anything in terms of antibiotics and things like that. So here we are, still living the dream, and I'm pretty confident that I would take a dose of antibiotics right now to help ward off what I can only assume is rabies and or hepatitis. Saturday, things got really exciting when we've talked about a little bit the issue with we had some mice in the basement, and even though our dogs spend most of their life assuming that they're cats, they're still dogs and that they don't really chase anything. And I thought, I don't know if you've ever caught or trapped a mouse, but if you don't know that it's there, if you don't check the traps, eventually you figure out that maybe something's there. And the telltale stink was kind of coming out, so I went down there to find it, and there was water as far as the eye could see. It felt like it was bad. It was bad. And while yes, there was a mouse in that trap, it was not that. And
Wasn't the problem?
Nope, that was not the issue. We got all that all cleaned up. I thought we had things fixed, and Sunday everything was back to the same way. And we had some help come, and they ran some augers and got a blockage cleaned out in between. It was an emergency call, so there's a little bit of a delay, but we got Badger Bash 2020 started. Feature night started, and in between I was running away trying to check in and make sure everything was going the way that it needed to go on the other adventures that were happening within the house, and in an effort to keep the dogs out of the gentlemen that were doing the rest of that work. I locked them in the room with me where the computer was, so both Charlotte and Cody got to have cameos on the as they were cheering on the drivers at Badger Bash and trying to get out into the rest of the house. It's been an adventurous couple weeks. So
I see. Was last week Alan went on a trip, or was that 2 weeks ago?
He got home Saturday.
Nice.
Saturday, he went to Boston.
What was it like not having him home for a couple of days? That had to be a little strange.
It was. It made me appreciate having the kids around. It also helped me appreciate quiet.
Oh, goodness.
Lest anyone think otherwise. But he had a good time.
Good.
It was interesting, though, when he came home. We have a Bark app, so we can kind of see what was going on. Actually, it came in real handy when his phone was stolen, and then we pinged it, and we found it on the bleachers in the gymnasium. So we were able to trim that down, and then we had a talk about honesty. So that was fun, but
Interesting.
Because it wasn't taken out of your hand.
Possibly he just forgot it there.
He just left it there, and yeah, so
Happens sometimes.
But he had fun. I was a little bit taken aback. Saturday was night 2 of Badger Bash with Derek Creetlow and Hollywood. We're having that and had the chance to try all sorts of new stuff with the streaming platform that we've been using for a long time on the mobile stuff. So that was cool. It was really neat when the developer sent me an exe file, and it loaded in a streamer that wasn't yet available to the public, so that the instant replay stuff would work. That was really cool, and I don't have to return it. Eventually, everybody else will have it, but we had it. It was fun.
That's cool.
It was kind of neat to bring that element to it, and we were staying in pretty constant contact with Alan with the schedule, and then Melissa texted him early in the day Friday, and then late in the afternoon Friday afternoon, we didn't get a result. No message back. No message back when we got to the hotel. But there was still messages being logged on, for flagged for content, flagged for this, flagged for that, as he was texting back. So he was on his phone. It's not like the phone was lost. And tried to find out the schedule when he was getting home, and no answer, but still had the logs and stuff. So the phone still wasn't lost. And when he got home, we were handed a bill from Hard Rock Cafe for the stuff that one of the chaperones, because Alan had spent all of his travel money and still wanted other stuff. And the chaperone was kind enough to put it on her credit card and handed us the bill for it.
Wow, that's something.
So that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess in one way that's nice for the chaperone to do, but another way, I probably think it would have been okay to say, well, bud, you spent all your money. If I don't have permission from your parents, then I'm not going to do this. But
he told them that he did have permission from his parents.
Oh,
And then the hoodie that he bought, he tried to give away. So we had another conversation about honesty, and it's this sounds a lot like a coming of age story that you'd see in a movie, right before all the teenagers get trapped in the house.
If
And the person wearing the white mask, if anybody wonders, would be me.
yeah, as I've told you before, it's definitely part of growing up. I went through it with my oldest and mid throes with the youngest now, and there was times I wasn't sure my oldest was going to survive it, but he did, and he's the better for it. Kids today.
You
man,
made a post not long ago on Facebook.
Yes.
Something to the effect, and I can't remember the exact language of it, but I chewed on it for a while and realized that it was very accurate. This is the same stuff that has probably always happened since the beginning of class trips.
Mm-hmm.
Only nobody was able to document it. Mm-hmm. You found out that everybody made it home alive when everybody made it home alive, or you got an emergency phone call. Right. And that was it. That was it.
Yeah, that's definitely, 30 long years ago now, we went on our senior trip to Toronto, and my parents didn't even drop me off at school. I had my own car. I drove. We came back on a Saturday night. We were supposed to get back around 6-ish or 7-ish, and which, of course, on a Saturday night in Central New York, my parents were at Canandaigua watching my brother run, which no big deal, but we ended up being late. We didn't go home till like midnight, so we were way late. But they were at the races, and then they may have stopped at the VFW on the way home for a beverage or two, because
Which VFW was that?
Geneva.
Oh, okay.
And
on North Street, right?
Yeah. But I mean, they got home. My car was home, and everything was good. So, cell phones and social media and all this stuff. I mean, it
has a place.
Yeah.
But its place doesn't have to be everywhere.
Yes.
However,
since it is,
I'm going to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. It's it's part of kids and part of life and part of growing up. And, I still have talks with my oldest about curfews. I had a curfew until I moved out of the house, realistically, when I got married. So, that's just how we do things. But it's just part of kids being kids, and it is what it is. And, everything will work out in the end.
We hope so. There's always the chance that it won't.
Oh, no, everything will work out fine. You'll be all right.
Hey, Mark, let me put you in. go. Let's see how this goes. God willing, we have Mark Elliott on the line with us. You there, Mark?
Yeah, Chris, what's up?
Hey, well, it's almost as if I surprised you.
Yeah, I mean, gee whiz, I forgot all about it, and
Uh-oh.
and it's all good. It's
Well-
all good. Yeah, I totally forgot about it, but yeah, I'm in.
Well, yes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, that is a fact. Had an event over there May the 14th with Hardcore. Frankie Guy had an event, if I'm right. That was the show in Knox, PA, right?
You got it.
So
Yeah,
tell us-
yeah. What's up, Chris and Brian? Man, it's been a long time.
Well, we're at this point, we're just kind of catching up on everything. We're setting the stage, talking a little bit about the contemplating the meaning of life, catching up with you. We're going to be talking with Tim Clark Jr. here in a little bit to be brought up to speed on what's happening with the with Bash for Cash, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks, where you're going to be out there. There's not a ton of drivers right now in the top 10 that are registered that are going to be at the Bash for Cash. I don't know if they're going to be trying to knock on the doors or what the situation might be.
Well, so Mr. Tim Clark Jr. himself actually pointed that out, and my response to that was, sounds like opportunity for other people, especially the names that he did mention. I know at least one of them's running a double point class. I know they've got 3 double point classes there. So, are you hearing an echo at all?
Say that one more time?
Are you hearing an echo at all?
No.
Okay, cool. I can handle it, but I definitely hear one, but I'm good with it. So, yeah, man, you never know about those guys. They don't tell me crap, and I'm okay with that because the less I know, the better off I am. But it does seem like they don't plan out too far ahead, and I kind of thought in my mind when he said that 2 weeks is a long ways away for those nut jobs.
Well, I mean, the card is looking pretty full. That is the next event on the Unified Point Series at this juncture. Then after that, you got a little bit of a reprieve before we get to June 11th with the Wexford Warzone event up in Michigan. On June 11th, that's with TNT Top Notch is hosting the Southern Illinois Showdown in Marion, Illinois on June 16 and 17. And then the month of June wraps up with Buchanan's event at Richmond, Indiana on the 25th. And then July gets real busy. You've got 6 dates through the course of July, and that's really going to be a bunch of those opportunities with county fair level stuff for some of the compact drivers to make up a little bit of the ground.
Yeah, and man, who knows? Who knows what that brings to the table, and who knows who shows up for that stuff. I'm just looking at the top 10 right now, and so. Again, they don't tell me a whole lot, but just from where I'm sitting, what I see is, so we had Ty Richards that popped out a few wins right off the rip, and he got second place at Spring Explosion, yep, in the one and done, the last time that I seen him, and he shook my hand afterwards and said, "See you in Michigan." So, okay, all right, that's that. I'm okay with that. So then you got Bill Miller, who continues to make headway in second place. He's now only 3 points away from Ty.
Right,
So,
he made some ground up this weekend.
Yeah, so he has actually traveled to Pennsylvania. The last 2 shows have been hardcore shows, and that's about $1,000 a pop in fuel for him.
Wow.
So he just ran this last weekend, and the class that he got second in paid $600, and he had he sent me his about $1,100 fuel bill, and I'm like, holy crap, man! But he come to Stoneboro, and him and Byron Adams. Byron's a good old boy. Running to him, working for the Wicked shows. But anyway, they ran limited weld, and they got the Stoneboro welcome. I'm talking it got ugly. It was not easy to watch, and I think they done fine. But they definitely he got down to third and just barely squeaked out those 6 points. So they tore those limited weld cars up pretty bad in that bloodbath. And, whether it was time or whether it was strategy, I don't know. And it's not really my concern, but he shows up out at this past weekend in Knox, PA, which is a little further even, with 2 minivans and a front wheel drive stock mini car. And I'm like, I'm just mesmerized at, it never ceases to amaze me year after year what these guys are willing to go through. And here I said it, he already knows he's gonna have more in the fuel bill, and he goes out there in the vans, and Byron is the other van. So, and I'm, the limited weld class that they didn't come run, there was only one other car in. So had they chose that, we're talking automatic points. It would have been a 3-car heat. And so that heat doesn't even happen. In the heat that they chose, the 2 heats that they chose, the van and the car, was the 2 biggest heats of the Derby. and it was a bunch of locals and a bunch of hell raisers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to put myself in check, because I have to make sure that my emotional investment in it serves me and the point series well. And what I mean by that is, the second it turns into a bias for me, because I think that's part of what makes it special for me, that I am emotionally invested, and I really do. I appreciate their support, and I watch their drive, and it excites me, and I do root for them. But, at the same time, I got a job to do, and I got to root for everybody there. So I got to keep myself in check all day, but I'm thinking all day, like, they're going to get killed again. And the van class didn't work out for him. Neither one of them scored points. And I'm like, man, he's got one more shot, or he's traveling back 11 hours with Zilcho. And he, the Derby gods was on his side, because, like, a lot of the guys that was out there, Sickles was out there, Adam, a lot of guys that's always at the bottom in that class, which is their space. That's not his space. But, whatever happened to him, they went out, and he ended up getting down to second. And again, that closed his gap on behind Ty just by 3 points now. So, less than a third place finish. Then you got freaking Steven Sickles, who keeps saying, I'm not even chasing points, and he keeps scoring points. And I'm like, look, you either gotta accept the fact that you kind of are, because you keep running the shows on our schedule, or stop saying you're not chasing it, because you're in the top 3 now, and he's running the Bash for cash. So it's like, hey, we're going to pay you no matter what. You can say you're not chasing points, and you can have that story, but if you keep winning and keep running shows on our schedule, you're going to get paid. It's that simple. So I give him a hard time this weekend about that. But he's not chasing points, but he's in the top 3 now. And then, Trevor Jones, we didn't see him since Spring Explosion, so I don't know what he's got up his sleeve. J.D. Lorraine scored points again this weekend. That shot him up into the top 5. Don Santel, our old buddy Don, he tells me at Spring Explosion, I don't even remember the conversation, so I'm not going to try word for word, but he's like, Mark, I hate you, And I thought that fire was going to get lit again, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And Frankie said he called and asked him some questions about the Derby and PA a few weeks ago, and he never came. So, that pipe I think was smoking, but I just don't think it lit. And then Scotty Dravnik, he's the one that I said signed up. He signed up for 2 classes at the Bash for Cash, and he's on a hot streak this year. So, I mean, that gets us pretty far down in the top 10. But man, I don't know who's got the hook in their jaw, but right now it feels like Bill Miller's got it sunk in there the deepest, because he told me the same thing when I shook his hand. He said, "I'll see you in Michigan."
Well, that's certainly an interesting turn of events right there. I mean, these guys are going to some place that they've likely never been before. Likely never been there. I think we've seen Bill Miller at the Bash for Cash. I can't remember for certain. Maybe I'm getting him tied up overlapping with Chris Deepro.
Yeah.
No, he ran last year. He ran with Santel, Richards, Prohaska, all them. They made the feature and things didn't work out for him. But, his forte is pro classes. So, what's interesting is he's telling me how he's got some bands, and I'm like, he didn't even weld his bumper on. I'm like, Bill, did you even read the rules? And he just laughed, and he's like, I didn't know he used to run mini cars. So apparently maybe he's got a little hat trick up his sleeve that, that's here. I thought he was just like going after it for whatever angle he could. But if he's able to score in a van and a mini car already now, and really his comfortable space is pro class cars, if he can somehow take advantage of some of those double points throughout the year, if he keeps going at it like he is, he's going to be up there, that's for sure.
And Steven Sickles.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, here comes Steven Sickles, and he's not chasing it. But
the thing with Steven is everywhere he runs, unless something major happens, he's top 3. And if he's obviously traveled, so if he's just hitting shows to hit shows, he's gonna score points because he's always top 3.
Right.
And I believe I saw his name on the entry list for Bash as well.
We're gonna lead through those, so we might come across it.
So.
Yeah, I think he's running vans there, Brian. And no, you're right, and that's what I always said about Santel. After he didn't come back and chase real hard the second year, I said guys like that, and kind of what Brian's alluding to on Steven, with 32 shows on the schedule, we're going to cross paths enough where, there's certain guys that's usually they just find their way to the bottom in whatever classes they run, and their name's going to be on there whether they give a crap about it or not, and we're going to give them a trophy, and we're going to give them some money, and they can say they're not chasing, and that's fine. But if they keep winning, then they're going to be in it, right?
Right. For sure. Well, and the thing is too is the shows that you have, that are a part of the points. They're all obviously well respected shows. And we've touched before that at this point drivers are looking for, shows where they can go and there's not a hassle on inspection and everything's handled fair. And there's so many of those shows, obviously, that are associated with the point series. You're going to see a lot of guys that go to those shows because, it is a fair inspection and the show is ran good and there isn't any favoritism. So, that's definitely going to help. It helps you, and it's going to help the drivers to have more places to go and to have more chances to gain points. So it's a benefit for all those involved for sure.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't agree more, Brian. And like while you were saying that, you kind of triggered a thought that, I didn't even mention as I was going down through. I think I got into like 7th or 8th place, but Daryl Myers, here's a story for you. Steven, not chasing, right? And if you could see my 2 fingers moving up and down, not chasing. Daryl Myers is one of his best friends and building out of his garage And Daryl is somebody that, we haven't heard his name much, but he reached out to me and actively said his goal was to be in the top 10. And now here he is. He's in the top 10. He won one of the heats at the show this past weekend. And I mean, just watching him hit his roof and the excitement and the handshake, and it never gets old. It never gets old when I know that that's their goal, and I know that the money and the trophy's cool, but I know they're like 10 points mother effer, and that handshake and the look on their face and their eye like, I did it and I'm going to do it again. I get high off of it. I love watching these guys do great things. That's what I get out of it.
Yeah, it's always great to see the pure enjoyment when somebody wins a show. I mean, it's, especially, because we've all, we know, the time and energy and busted knuckles and hot, sweaty, angry nights in the shop when nothing goes right. I mean, we've all been there. So, when it finally goes right, we know how they're feeling, and it's good to see that excitement and, be a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And Tim, when I mentioned Tim Jr., you got him coming on. When he told me those three names, that's all that was signed up, I thought he had told me, or maybe somebody did, that Santel and Traver was signed up in there somewhere. So I don't know if that was a tentative or if something changed, but I mean, those guys are on a hot year too. I mean, they had a couple hot runs this year, so we're going to cross paths again. And I don't know if that fire gets lit, but Travers definitely one for sure that is on a hot streak this year. So, and he was on with you guys, which was really cool, because I mean, that's something that means a lot to me as well, because there's so many interesting people out there and great people out there. And if they're on with you guys because they scored some points or whatever the case may be, had a few wins, and you guys have them on, and maybe you wouldn't before, like, that's just another piece to this puzzle that just, I don't know, it's exciting for me. I get wound up just talking about it.
I kind of looking back over that, I still can't believe that we hadn't had Traver on before.
Yeah.
I don't know how that ended
Yeah,
up.
and you said that, and I thought, wow, you're right.
And I really don't know how we got to the point where that had happened. But that's one of the things that I like about this is, and one of the things that we've been trying to focus on here locally with some of the stuff that we're doing with the local motorsports coverage, is everybody has a story to tell. We've said that for a long time.
Yep.
And we've been trying to get a hold of people that we haven't talked to before, because the derbies have been going on consistently. And it's one thing to talk about the people that are scoring 10 points at a time, which is great. It's brought new personalities to our table, and it's been fun to get to know everybody. But at the same time, we're also finding out about drivers in other parts of the country that have a story to tell. Mm-hmm. We tried to get the guys from California on with those old Mercs, but it didn't come to pass. The friend request was accepted, but the message wasn't answered. So I don't know if that'll ever happen down the line or what, but we tried it, we tried.
Oh man, Chris, you said old Mercs, and it just made me think about like the bashes in 2 weeks, and it made me think about the relic class and just are you guys going to the bash?
Yeah, right now the plan is that we're going to be out there. We gotta work some magic though.
Yeah. Sounds like another day at the office for Chris Marquardt.
Sometimes.
Oh man.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate you holding me accountable tonight to jump on here, because I've missed talking to you guys, and I don't have any excuses. I'm busy, but everybody's busy. Everybody's always got something going on, and I never stop thinking about that. You guys do this every week. Everybody else fits it into their schedule every now and again, but man, you guys will never be told enough times how much the sport just appreciates you guys taking time each week to do this.
Appreciate that.
This is episode number 400, if you can believe that.
400. It's a good number right there. Oh, man, that's crazy to think about. That is crazy. And that's why I asked you if you're going to Bash, because I was just reminiscing on you guys. I enjoyed you sharing the videos, having Russ on, and just the whole dynamic. It really is, that Derby it makes itself, and whether people come and go for that Derby, but there's always new people coming in because it every year it's the same. It's the Bash, and it just the amount of cars and the camping and the whole atmosphere. I mean, the pizza guy tonight delivered the pizza, and he was asking if there's any shows coming up, and I told him that was coming up, and he's like, "Oh man, I've never been," and he was asking me how much it is to get in, and I'm like, "Whatever you got to do, make it happen. Just go. Trust me. Just go once, and you'll enjoy it." He's like, "Well, yeah, maybe I could take a tent and a case of beer." I'm like, "Yeah, you'll fit right in." Go.
You might want to bring a couple of cases of beer.
Yeah, maybe he was just going for the day, Brian.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it.
There's a guy that got peeled up off of that busted off telephone pole. Remember that? He'd been overserved and never made it back to his tent, and had woke up in a fire ant hole.
Yeah. You remember the one year?
No.
We were there the one year, and a guy had started celebrating early in the morning and ended up like passing out in the bleachers right next to us. And they took him away, and I think he was all right, but he between the sun and the early libations, he was not in good shape. But no, I mean, it definitely, Bash for Cash it's an event. It's
For anybody that's been up here, anybody that's been following modified racing, and you can remember the mile, that is the only thing that I've been able to experience that comes close to being on par with what Bash for Cash is.
yes.
Yep. The only difference is it's never sunny in Syracuse.
Very rarely was it ever sunny in Syracuse in October. But
The nicest Super Dirt Week that ever happened was in November, because in October it snowed.
I remember
The 358 race was at night and it was freezing, and they shifted it ahead to November, and it was like 70. And the week after that, we had that Derby, and the track was frozen at Black.
No, my brother tells stories of racing at Syracuse, and it was so cold his teeth were chattering going down the backstretch.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
He'd running down there, I don't know, 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour, and your teeth are chattering.
Tough to focus, I would
Tough to focus, yeah. But no, it was 1992 or 93. It was like 80.
Why didn't you just turn the heat on?
Oh, yeah. Usually it's hotter than hell in those cars, but when you got that kind of wind hitting you, it's and you got your Nomex and your 3-layer fire suit. Plus you got they all have the air induction, so you get cold air bloated on your head.
Face.
Yeah, it was something, but no, you're right. It is, and I've told you that. I think every year that I've been to Bash for Cash with you, I've said that's what it reminds me.
Sunday is the morning when you wake up and everything's a little dewy and everything smells like a wet campfire.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you can feel the tension because that's when all the big money's handed out is on Sunday, and from the first night, usually Thursday or Friday, it's kind of it's still more of a party than a derby because they hadn't started wrecking stuff yet. And, and as it goes on, Friday night, you can feel a little bit, and Saturday there's a little bit more, but Sunday you can feel it. It's palpable. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. There really isn't. So it's definitely a destination. I think all derby fans should go there once. Just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy the experience.
And stay up late, because no matter how many sheriffs he hires, somehow, I mean, you could see a sheriff cruising around every 5 minutes, and somehow those nut jobs figure out how to do something crazy during that 5 minutes that the sheriff's gone, and there's always something that's a memory that we'll talk about until the next year.
Yeah, there's been some.
One year there was the golf cart that was kind of just out there. Back in that back lot, it looked like it was just short of being on cinder blocks.
Yeah.
When it was out there, but that wasn't the one that even stands out in terms of everybody got up. I think it was a Sunday morning, and there was a golf cart that was sort of like lawn dart landed and no front wheels on it after somebody had jumped over the barrier entering the track. And it was all backfilled and everything.
Yeah.
And the wheels, I mean, it was twisted and it was kind of just sitting there like this. And everybody was just like, leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Burn your fingerprints. Go. And they just left it there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, Tim's gonna kill us because we're kind of inducing wild stuff just talking about it.
But I mean, Syracuse has every bit of that kind of lore to it, between the huge money paid out, the stuff that is just that of legend, that gets more and more grandiose over time.
Did you ever go to the ghetto, or were you too old to experience, or too young to experience the ghetto at Syracuse?
I don't know. I remember at Syracuse one time, we were hanging out with some of the folks from up in Canada that...
Always a good choice.
Nope. 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 And they informed us that it was okay that we had started a campfire in one of the longhouses because that was what their ancestors grew up living in. Now...
This sounds logical.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, the troopers disagreed.
They didn't think that was such a good idea, huh?
Nope, but when they showed up, we did the same thing. Whoever wrecked that golf cart, we put our hands in our pockets, just started whistling, put our heads down, and got out of there.
Oh,
There have been times where there's been some remarkable good stories that no one will ever remember.
yeah, for sure. But
No, not
It
the
is.
ghetto. No, I never went
It
there.
is the whole experience, though, like Brian said, because by daylight and not much after, you you smell breakfast cooking and you hear hammers and like it's like reset the clock. It's time to work.
yep.
Yep. Well, we're all looking forward to it, and that is the next event on the 527 Unified Series. It's going to be the Bash for Cash, May 27th through the 29th. After that, June 11th is TNT's Wexford Wharf Zone, and that show is shaping up to be a good one. You can find all the dates online, 527unifiedseries.com. The leaderboard is up to date there as well. Again, Ty Richards is your leader. Bill Miller, second place by 3. Steven Sickles, last year's champion, starting to run down that top group, only down by 10. Trevor Jones, J.D. Loreen creeping up there into the top 5 as well, and he's only 14 points off that leader's pace. So lots of wrecking still to come for the folks that are following the Unified Series, and the next stop is going to be in Chillicothe, Ohio. Mark, man, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out for a little while. I look forward to catching up with you down in at the Ross County Fairgrounds.
Awesome, Chris. Take care. Brian, take care, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right, we'll
Have
catch
a
you
good one,
later,
buddy.
Mark.
All right, bye.
That's good to catch up with Mark Elliott for a few minutes. We're going to be talking with
Tim Clark Jr.
Clark Jr. here in a few minutes. There was a derby over the weekend at Fulton. I don't know if you saw that. We had parts and pieces of a Charger on the floor. I don't know if anybody knew any stories about that. That was Fulton over the weekend, and we had Freddie White was here in-house with Zach Herman. Freddie White ended up pulling down the win over there. Second place was Nick Hagedorn. Dylan Archer was third. Mad Dog was Dylan Archer. Junk Run, Mike Doney won there. Zach Herman was the Mad Dog, and Sean Amon got third in that one over there at Fulton over the weekend. So that's a rundown on things that were happening for John King. John celebrating, I think John said on Facebook he turned 65 over the weekend. Eric Remington had a birthday back on May the 9th, and he also, did you see, he went to the father-daughter dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Christopher Polly, better known as Pork Chop, absolutely one of the most sincere and greatest guys we have met in our tours of the Derby land. Also had a birthday, so happy birthday to our buddy Shop. Hopefully we get to see you soon, bud. Also, Paul Reynolds from Romulus finished 6th at Fulton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he took a driver's door. He'd been out for a while, and he got driver's doored at like 40. So he's okay, but it was a pretty nasty driver's door hit. But he was happy. It was a good run.
let's run through some of the spots, and we'll be back right after this.
Where'd you go?
We did do it at derby.
Ow, my head! You went to a derby?
Hey Derby World, this is All For Him Racing Videos, where Derby never ends. We have people come up and ask, what is All For Him Racing Videos? And the answer is a YouTube channel dedicated to growing the sport of Demolition Derby in a positive and fun way. Our passion is to show the next generation the sport and capture the memories for generations to come. We're just trying to show that you can be a Christian, do crazy and exciting things like Demolition Derby, and just spread the word. We have traveled all over the country filming events, all while meeting many great people, hearing amazing stories, seeing the passion for this sport, and falling in love with the Derby community. We have grown to be the largest Demolition Derby channel on YouTube across the world, with millions of views within our large library of videos. We love what we do and can't wait for what the future has in store. We always want to be a place for positive, exciting, and action-packed Derby videos. Thank you, Derby World, and enjoy the videos.
Just want to point out real quick that I played that during Badger Bash, and Facebook flagged it for a copyright infringement because that belonged to Alex, even though Alex sent it to us to play. So that was a lot of fun. Iron City National is coming up in September the 9th, 7 p.m. stock compact, the big wing class, two-man extreme class. The super stock feature number 1 pits open at 8 a.m. Saturday the 10th, 6 p.m. Power wheels. Most wanted fine art, street stocks, full-size youth cars, super stock, heat 2, super stock, heat 3, pits open at 7 a.m. This is going to be at the New Alex Lions Club, 1874 Lions Club Road, New Alex, PA, IronCityPromos.com. Super stocks are full, 10,000 to win in a championship belt. Big Wayne heavyweight class, 2,500 win in a championship belt. Two-man extreme class, 2,000 to win in a championship belt. Stock compacts, most wanted fine art, street stocks, youth full size, all part of the program. Check it out if you want additional details online, IronCityPromos.com. That was really cool. I don't know, did we talk about it at the beginning when when Todd clicked on the video from Iron City?
Yeah.
Were we out live on that, or were we talking before?
Just before.
So we had Badger Bash this weekend with Creetlow, one of the RDP events, and I got a message from Todd. He's in Venice, Italy, and saw the Crash Course Games logo pop up that it was live, and when he hit the button, it was playing through the restaurant that they were in, and it was the Canadian National Anthem, and they watched the whole Derby.
That's awesome.
In Venice, which I mean is just really cool. You know, for what it's worth, it was pretty neat to get that message in here that was happening. RPM Group, click or call rpmgroupny.com, a progressive waste management business serving nearly 4,000 residents and businesses around Owego, New York. RPM Group can take care of all your waste management needs. Boasting a fleet of 2 roll-offs and 6 garbage trucks, RPM is fully insured and ready to serve. Ask about asbestos abatement and surveys, interior and exterior demolition, private parties and foreclosures, curbside trash and recycling. Online rpmgroupny.com. 607-223-8714. Tell them that you heard about RPM Group on the Crash Course. Hardcore's 2022 tour, June 25th is the Day of Destruction in Dunbar. That's the next one on deck for Hardcore. That is going to be a heck of a show in Dunbar. July the 2nd is Mayhem on the Mountain in Farmington, Pennsylvania, and then July is going to round out with 2 shows. King of the Hill in Windridge, Pennsylvania, and then Extreme Destruction, July the 30th in West Alex, Pennsylvania. August the 12th is Cass and Coal Country, and they back that up after the trip to Waynesburg with a trip to Washington for Washington Warzone. The schedule finishes out with Labor Day Lockdown, the Route 40 Rumble, the Final Confrontation, and the Hardcore Cleanup Show in Dunbar. Additional rules and registration information is available online. Get a hold of Frankie Guy, hardcorepromotions.com. We will catch up with Tim Clark Jr. here in just one moment, right after we tell you about the folks over at Jeffy's Fab Farm.
Jeffy's Fab Farm in Fredericksburg, Virginia specializes in all of your demolition derby needs. we've got you covered from bumper to bumper. Whether you need headers, shifters, harnesses, fueling systems, or complete turnkey setups, Jeffy'sFabFarm.com can help. We've even got a Canadian branch to help our northern customers. With over 16 years in the industry, we've got the knowledge and experience needed to provide the highest quality parts and put you in the winner's circle. Visit our website today or call Jeff at 540-907-3390. Fabby says the best parts come from the farm. Jeffy'sFabFarm.com.
And as we said, the Bash for Cash is right around the corner. We've got Tim Clark Jr. joining us here on the line. Tim, man, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right. Friday, 7 o'clock start time. Pro Stock Team Heat. Smith Metal Works full size. Pits open at 8 a.m. Saturday, 3 p.m. start for the Power Wheels. Then the turn back the clock heats. Pro Stock Team Constant Youth Mini. Street Stock Van and SUV. Street Stock full size. Frank the Tank Smash It Mini. Capping the card on Saturday. Sunday, 1 o'clock start time for the Farm Truck. Street Stock Mini. The Relic Class. Pro Stock Mini. Smash It full size. Pro Stock Team Feature. Turn back the clock feature. Pits open at 8 a.m. online for additional details. Smash It Derby. 3-man Pro Stocks paying $15,000 to win. Turn back the clock paying $12,000 to win. Smash It Minis paying $10,000 to win, and then all the one and dones are paying $2,500 to win. How many cars and what is the total bill on the payout this year?
So I just did this math probably an hour ago, so it was the most updated list, and I counted 491 cars. But, usually not all of them show up. People have family issues or gas prices are crazy. So we're probably expecting around like 400, hopefully. And then the payout, that's like 104,500.
Not bad.
Not a bad weekend of Derby.
No. 3 days. It's a lot of
My
money.
dad actually, he's been talking about possibly giving out a $500 Mad Dog in each of the heats too. So we'll see what his final decision with that is.
Well, you got the checkbook. I mean, you make that decision, don't you?
I mean, if you wanted to, it could be a $5,000 Mad Dog. It's not like it's going to break your hand.
I don't know about that. That's not me. That's him.
Hey, I mean, just sign Tim Clark. I mean, who's to say it was junior or senior? I mean, the signature's got to look close. I mean, I don't even worry about it.
I try to use that excuse all the time, but see, he doesn't think it works like that, but I think it does. But
I mean, come on, you're practiced up from. I'm sure you were practiced up from writing that name so you could leave school early when you were a kid. I mean, it's got to be good by now.
Yeah, something like that.
Stop encouraging forgery.
He's signing his own name.
I know. I hear what you're saying. I don't believe it's necessarily what's written. It's the intent, right?
Oh, well,
Still, which makes it premeditated, and I think that makes it more egregious, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
I don't know. That's why I'm not a lawyer. How's everything going anyway? I'm sure that this, as you heard Mark Elliott talking, he said that this thing is sort of just, it's a monster. It's an entity unto itself. Is it as automated as it might seem, even though we have the new drivers coming in and the new format? We've got some different classes, different rules to wrap your mind around.
Most of it, a lot of people that have been working for us for a while, so they know what they're doing. But all the stuff behind the scenes it's pretty crazy. Because this is really the first year that I really helped my dad the whole way through, so I never really imagined it'd be this much work. It's pretty crazy. It's definitely a full-time job.
Is this now that you've had a couple years to see it from the side that your dad's been on for so long, and where Russ has been, and where you've seen Fatty been working for a long time, is it what you expected it to be, and what it has come to entail in terms of the amount of time that you're putting into it?
Honestly, not at all. Growing up, I thought there were just bash for cashes in every state. I was pretty naive to, what the bash really was, because that was really the only derby that I went to other than some of our county fairs growing up. Mm-hmm. So, last year going to the expo, learning about all the different promoters and all their stuff, it was really eye-opening, and it's just absolutely insane, the amount of time and effort, all the people that basically spend months building these cars just for this one day to wreck them in 20 minutes to an hour.
You went to college for, was it marketing and promotions?
I have a degree in sports administration, so basically a business degree specifically for sports.
Does
So
Demolition
after
Derby
college,
promote? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. So after college, I sold season tickets for the University of Illinois' football and men's basketball team, and then with COVID and everything, there's no people in the stands, so there's no tickets to sell. So I moved back home and was looking for a job for a while. I had one with a ticketing company, but just moving back home and seeing all that the derbies are, all the work really is, I wanted to help out and put my stamp on things, I guess.
So my question to follow up on that is, does Demolition Derby fit the molds as a sport when you're looking at the management and the promotions and the way you pitch things and have conversations in the front offices at other levels, be it maybe NASCAR or whatever, some of the other facilities I know you interview with Major League Baseball, stuff like that. Does Demolition Derby fit, or is it truly the animal unto itself, the way that we all kind of just assume that it is?
You know, at the end of the day, any sporting event, whether it's motorsports or regular sports like basketball or football, it's all just people gathering together to either watch or be entertained in some sort of way. So obviously derbies aren't really, magnified like NASCAR and the Super Bowl or that type of thing, but I really feel like it is a sport in its own little way, and just trying to, take what I learned in college and outside of things and put it back into the sport.
Junior, last year, Fatty stepped away. He had some health issues and some things going on. Who's the head of the tech crew now?
So that would be his brother Chuck. Has really stepped up and done a lot with our whole inspection crew. And this year, to make things a lot easier for the big cars, he's really the main point of contact. And then for the mini cars, the mini trucks, the minivans, all that kind of stuff, and the farm trucks, that's Stan Johnson. He's been working for us for a while now, and he's been stepping up with that for sure.
Nice. That's cool. One thing about the Clarks is there is a lot of them. Last year I rode around with Tim Jr. and his dad, and and we, like I said, we've been going here a long time, and we've become friends with the Clark family, and it was neat to ride around. Tim's be like, yeah, that was my sister, and she was the one that was registering for the golf carts, and this is my cousin, and he's the one that's doing this, and it's just like it really. I mean, it's a family operation, and it's neat to see that a family is close enough that they all come together and work on something like this. So I've mentioned that before, that I admire that it is truly a family a family deal, and obviously Russ was such a huge part of it, and unfortunately he isn't with us physically anymore. So but it's just so cool to see the different members of the family that are all there working, and it's good to hear that that Chuck has stepped up and taken over that role. So cool. I was just wondering, I hadn't heard anything, I hadn't talked to you in a while, so good to hear.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of our people work for us and really have been friends with my dad, or even went to high school with my dad. So he's known him forever. So they love what they do, just like the drivers love what they do, I feel like. So they're in it just to make the event or anything else better, just like the drivers would want.
Well, just like the drivers would want. The drivers that are going to be battling for $15,000 to win the three-man pro stock heats, the 2022 Bash for Cash, highlighted by the three-man pro stocks. And the thing that jumped right off the page at me when these drivers lists were put up, FYM, is Don Turner, KJ Milling, and Kyle Macy. That got my attention. Brian Schumann with Team Who Cares with Tyson Combs and Will Zach. Team Black Flag with Brett Petro, Paul Petro, and Jason Green. And then Mike Decker, Tyler Collins, and Keith Collins on a team as well. That is that's quite the rundown just in that couple columns of names that we said, not to mention the rest of the lineup.
Yeah. There's
sure.
there's a lot of good cars, a lot of good builders in that class.
It's definitely going to be crazy. We really switched it up this year to a team show. I'm going to be honest, just because the 2-hour feature last year, it was boring, to say the least. So we wanted to switch things up. Well, we go to shows all over the country all year. What are they doing best? What do they need to improve on? And we really looked at that heat as something we need to improve on, and we really like this team format that we see at other shows, so we wanted to do that as well here.
Austin Jumper, Ben Coulter, Casey Peterman, a couple of names that we see signed up for the Relic class. Spencer Jumper, Tim Hanazuski, one of the guys, and Nick Hanazuski, a couple of the drivers from out in Western New York. Jason Draw is going to be there as well. Lexi Draws with Demolition Derby Life magazine. So that's going to be a fun one. I haven't seen any pictures of what necessarily is coming, but the rules still maintain that it's going to be 1960. It was 1962 and older.
I believe it's 63.
63.
I wasn't a math major, so don't quote me on that.
Fair enough. It's always one of the heats that everybody likes to see. That Relic class is going to be something. What I don't see on that list right now, though, is I don't see Butch on there.
Oh, yeah.
So funny you say that. I was listening into the podcast with you guys and Mark, and Butchie was talking to us because we went out to Spring X to watch. He was asking, what classes are open and everything. When I told him the minivans, he didn't like that idea. And I don't know if he has a Smash It full-size car ready to go, but considering I just talked to Trevor like a couple minutes ago actually about what classes are open, I think they might have something up their sleeve.
I think we're talking about two different Butches. You're talking about Don Santel. We're talking about Butch Sisko.
Oh yeah, I don't know why he didn't enter this year. Usually they have a whole fleet of guys.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. He's also deaf, blind, and coming at you. So it might be the 66% of that have taken over. But nonetheless, I hope we do get to see him out there. The Smash It full size class, that's always a fun class to watch. There's a good look at some of the names that are going to be in action out there. Pick one. Tyson Combs. I think Tyson Combs probably an early favorite in that rundown. Wyatt Schatzer, good to see he's back out there. Another one of the Pennsylvania drivers. Nathan Bookline going to be making the trip again this year as well. So certainly some names that are new to the rundown for the Smash It full size. So I'm excited to see that. In the Smash It full size class, that is essentially replacing the kicker cars from last year, right?
So it's actually replacing the 80s wire. So what we did, we got rid of the 80s wire, and we took our Pro Stock rules, and the Smash It full-size class is the exact same rules, except you're allowed a full cradle and a DP in that class.
Okay. There we go. Smash It Minis. That is going to be a busy round of action there for them. Jordan Rutherford, John Rutherford, Jaron Rutherford, all of them entered in that one. That's a fleet that you're not going to want to miss. The front-wheel drive car able to get it done last year. We'll have to see if they can hang with the rear-wheel drives again this year. Scott Drevenak Jr., one of the couple times he's going to be running this weekend. Tyler Dodd, I believe Tyler was the one that won it last year.
Yeah.
I believe so. He had the Lumina Logan May on the entry list. I see Nathan Middendorf, Parker Michaels, so it's going to be a heck of a field. Todd Gorman on there again, Tony Miller, Wesley Pies. It's going to be a good field for the Smash It mini cars out there at Bash for Cash in a couple of weeks. Smith Metalworks Youth Full Size. This was fair to say it was a driving clinic
Yes.
I mean, these guys demonstrated a lot of skill. That is going to be the main event on Friday after the team heats. And there's some familiar names on there, some familiar last names as second and third generation drivers start to move into the full-size ranks. Right at the top, I see Lauren Prohaska going to be out there. I have not seen yet, though, on the list. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't miss it. I don't see Steve's boy on there.
Steve.
I'm trying to read through all the names. There, they are. Taylor Lanen is on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Trevor Myers, yep.
You're
Dylan
scaring
Meyer.
me now.
I think Dylan Meyer was the one that won it last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That him and his brother, that'll actually be the first time they ever run together, so that's kind of cool.
That is neat. Trevor Meyer right there across from Dylan Meyer's name. I was sure that I saw Steve's boy was working on a car, and then I didn't see it on. I was wondering if perhaps something had changed. Street stock full size. The street stock full size, that's been on the schedule for the last couple of years as a one and done, correct?
Yeah.
Tim Hanaszewski scheduled to run in that one. Nick Hanaszewski on the lineup there. Brandon Pendleton going to be in action. That's Jordan Pryor also up there as an entry. Jeremy Riley. That it's usually fast and usually there's not much left to fix.
No,
after that one.
Stuff.
Cheyenne Walker and Dave Germain also scheduled to go in this one. This was the one, if I remember right, Brett bought a car down there, stripped it in the pits, and ran it down to second.
Yeah.
Several years ago.
Yeah.
There's the Street Stock Mini rundown. Andrew Vona and I believe David LaJewett. Yep, there he is. David Kool-Aid, after he moved to Ohio, he's going to make the tow back to the East Coast to enter in the Street Stock Mini class, which is going to be, and I see Justin Montgomery's name on the list too. I don't know if that's the same Justin Montgomery, but it'd be certainly interesting to see Chicken in a compact.
No,
right?
I don't think it's that.
I think Chicken is running an NLR show that weekend, so I don't think it's the Chicken.
I know. I know it's
I
not
wish
gonna
it
be
was, though. That'd be pretty cool to see.
It would be neat. Tommy Trimmer, Tyler Collins going to be in there. Denny McIntosh, bunch of regular names coming back around to run in the Street Stock Mini class. Turn back the clock class. Billy Penwell in the wagon. This one is this is a one and done at this point. TJ McCulloch is entered in that one. Seth Rutherford's going to have a car. Richard Hagg back out there one more time. I hope the pace is what it looks like it could be on paper, just with this lineup.
It was pretty fast-paced last year. They got after it pretty well. I was impressed. A lot of new names.
A lot of them, yeah. Tyson Coombs at the bottom there, and Wes Moonbreak, or Money Break, depending on what person you ask and what part of the country you're standing in, how to pronounce that name. Wes also going to be out there with that one. Aaron Anderson leading the charge for the Street Stock Minivan, Mini Truck, SUV division. I was looking through to see if this was one of the classes that Steven Sickles had entered. I did not see his name on this entry list.
Sickles is actually running the Frank the Tank class.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing: is he never travels with just one car.
No,
and I kind of assumed that this was going to be one of them. Yeah, Frank Triplett going to be out there as well. Daniel LeBlanc, one of the drivers that got a Mad Dog Award, one of his first trips down to Basher Cash in the Compacts. He's going to be in the class as well. And then the Youth Mini Stock. This reminds me, every time I see the Youth Mini Stock, I remember Tabby having the run with
Donnie Hertz on the car with
Donnie in the car, and then he's an adult now at this point, but I'm blanking on the name. It escaped me. We had him on the show because he traveled over and he won a show in Indiana. He won the RC Derby, and then sprinted off and won the youth show that year.
No, you're right.
Yep, and I'm blanking on the name, but I was getting messages today of people that are talking about coming out of retirement to run the RC Derby.
Really?
Which is kind of cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
I hope Ian Doyle's ready because his hands are going to be full.
Yeah, it's going to be
cool. The model car contest is back again. Going to be back on the Midway.
Didn't you win that 4 or 5 times?
I've never won that. No, I think I had a car there one time, and then I was trying to cut a deal buying some stuff, and I brought the fellas I was trying to buy some stuff from in the front of Scott Wallace's trailer, and he got really, really mad.
There's the farm trucks right there. The farm trucks run down. That's always a fun time. Kelby Minor's on the entry list for the farm trucks. That's going to be one that you want to make sure you have a front row seat for that, because you're going to be able to see fillings get knocked loose in the farm trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And then here is the Frank the Tank class. And the first name on the list right there at the top, Adrian Gilbert, going to be making the tote again. Those guys put on a show the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
That they were out there. So I'm hoping that is everything that it shapes up to be. Dale Randall's going to be making the trip out.
Tracy Young, who's always known for driving hard.
And
this is, I'm biased, but this is absolutely my favorite heat of the year.
Period.
Every year at Bash for Cash. I like standing next to the wall, and you can feel the hits. It's just, 'cause I mean, it's a light build, so the cars bend and the drivers don't as much, and it's just old school. Stand on the gas and just let it eat. It was last year's was very impressive, so I'm definitely looking forward to this heat as well.
Mason Foster going to be there. Tracy Young, like you said. Taylor St. Mary, look out.
Yeah.
He's going to be bringing the heat. And I thought I saw, James Dickup making the tow out, Evan Perro as well. What were you saying? It got quiet on me.
I don't even remember anymore, but one driver that I think is pretty cool to see this year in the Frank the Tank class, Andrew Myers. He was the Mad Dog last year, so he won the 76 LeSabre.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually running that same car in the heat. So that's pretty cool to see. This year we're giving away a 71 Cadillac for the Mad Dog in that heat. So it'd be cool to see, a tradition of Mad Dogs coming back and running the car.
That is cool. I don't think that anybody's brought the car back from the year before.
I don't think so.
The car that they won.
Yeah. There's nothing
you
left.
Couldn't even bring the door handles back from the car from last year.
No, usually you throw motors at all away. It's just junk.
And then the Pro Stock Minis. There's a good look at the Pro Stock Mini field as we round out the entry list for the 2022 Bash for Cash. Craig Bedell going to be making the tow out. Another one of those drivers that we know from out in Western New York. And there was some discussion about how things played out for Craig at one of the events earlier this year. I hope he has some good luck in his travel out there. Tracy Young also scheduled to be out there. And this one, Tyler Dodd, going to be running. Jeremy Riley. Double duty, and I thought there was another driver that was
David Tiller.
Yep. That was one of them that we were talking about before the show got going. Yep. So there it is. That's who we are going to be seeing, and I can't wait. It is going to be another good show, and one of the things that I always like about the Bash for Cash, when you do start seeing some of those new names, who's going to have their Bash for Cash moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You start getting some of those new names that haven't been there before. You start getting some of those talents that have been around the Derby world but haven't had the opportunity to run the Bash for Cash, so they bring the skill set to the table, but they haven't run there before. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun, and hopefully somebody's going to, no matter what, there's going to be a checkered flag, and somebody's going to be putting their name in the record book, and it'll last there forever.
For sure. It is. I mean, it's definitely a notch in anyone's belt to go there and win in any class. So, and it's neat to see first timers out there. So,
I know Brian's about to ask me this question, but from what I've heard, they haven't entered yet technically, so they weren't on the list, but the bronze will be there. From what I hear, I think one wagon and one sedan, but they're super top secret, especially with me, so I don't know for sure.
It'd be strange to see it with only one wagon. I mean, we have seen them win with a Impala before, sedan. So, it's always good to see those guys run. They're good dudes, amazing drivers, amazing builders, and it definitely raises the level of competition at any show they're at. So, be interesting.
Are you in Chillicothe at this point doing any setup, or are you going out there later this week?
We dropped our first load off at the campgrounds this morning, actually, and we've probably got a billion more trips to go. So this is day one of, seems like a month-long journey until the end of the bash, but really it's only like 3 weeks, or a week, really.
How far is that drive?
From here to my dad's place, probably 50 minutes, so it's not too terrible.
Oh, no. So you can get 3 or 4 loads dropped off in a day?
Yeah.
So, Junior, I got to ask, back in the day, your dad would be on air with us, and Russ would kind of be sitting off to the side, and Russ at times would shake his head and kind of try to calm your dad down a little bit because
Tell him this.
so yeah, because sometimes your dad gets a little excited. Now,
Sometimes.
if the table's turned and you're the one that's on air now, and your dad's kind of sitting at the side, trying to keep you calm and trying to not get you to say the wrong thing or too much, and is that how it is yet, or is everything pretty calm?
I'm definitely the calm one. He likes to be excited, like you're saying. I'm actually filling Russ's role and the guy that says, "Yeah, we can't do that. Don't do that."
Oh goodness!
Awesome.
Sorely missed by everybody for sure.
Big time. Big time. Well, I guess that's it for the talking, man. Here we are, straight on till morning. We got the Bash for Cash coming up a week from Friday. We'll probably do another follow-up here on Monday just to see where everything is at, but wanted to give everybody the opportunity. Of course, it's going to be aired on Derby Nation, going to be Derby Tees handling the production of that one. I'm certainly looking forward to catching all the action from Bash for Cash, the Ross County Fairgrounds, Memorial Day weekend, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And if you can't make it, of course, you can jump online and subscribe. And you've got all of the old editions of the Bash for Cash available on the Smash It page, right?
Just last year's right now. I'm working on getting them all on the internet.
Perfect. So if you want to go relive last year's, you got the opportunity. Jump on there and check it out. Tim Jr.'s got all the links on the very active Facebook page for Smash It. Man, I appreciate you making some time. I know it's a busy time of year, and the odds were probably low that I was going to be able to get a hold of anybody on Monday. But I appreciate you making some time, and we'll see you here in, what is it now? Maybe what? 12 days?
Something like that. But appreciate you guys for having me. But I got to thank the drivers for, signing up and coming to the show next week. All of our staff that help us out. All the sponsors, vendors, just everyone who likes derbies enough to come to Ross County Fairgrounds on May 27th through the 29th, every Memorial Day weekend, and see you. Good show.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. We'll catch up with you soon.
I'll talk to you guys next week.
See you then.
See ya.
There goes Jim Clark Jr. He said to talk to you next week. He's going to be driving, I assume. Whether it's towing a trailer or tooling around in a golf cart, that remains to be seen. But so there's cause for optimism there. Maybe we will catch up with those guys.
So we haven't really said much about it, but 400.
400.
I was on YouTube last night surfing because I was bored, and
I realized that most of them had taken down.
No, and it popped up. You know how it says like episode, or it says when it's going to be aired or whatever, and it said 400. And I looked at that number and I went, "That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot.
400."
Yep. And I had a message the other day. I think it was Parker Lazenby who said, "What episodes would you recommend somebody new to the podcast would go watch?" I'm like, I don't remember the numbers, but yeah, it's stunning to me that we've done this that many times. We started in 2013, so in September of next year, or would it be this year? I did the math on it, where over 10 years, you would have 52 weeks a year if you went every Monday. So that'd be 520 episodes. So by the time we get to that 10-year mark, I want to see how close to 520 we would be.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean,
because it like Mark said, it's been fairly consistent. The last 2 years have been a little bit more tough to stay on the Mondays just because the kids are playing travel sports and the games were Mondays and things like that.
Life comes first.
But at the same time, 400, we've almost doubled. We've almost, no, we haven't. No, I think we got to get to 500 because 31st lap was in the 250s. I'm pretty sure. But still, we are well on our way to lapping them.
Yeah,
because it hasn't been on in a while,
It's just amazing, and I've said it before. So many people still watch, and it's still relevant. It really makes me feel good.
I want to get Facebook back. When we were able to go to Facebook Live and YouTube, we were gaining a lot more. We were gaining a lot more eyes, and I really liked where we were at with Facebook over the weekend. We were having 10,000. A reach of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
That by no means is saying that 10,000 people watched the entirety. I mean, Saturday was a 6-hour derby online. I know that number, isn't it? When you start going down the list, it's 10,000 exposures and 192 clicks and like one link. It falls off fast. But it's still a stunning number of the way that you can go into Facebook as well and look at how your exposures worked. If it was people that were following, if it was this, if it was that. And the page Crash Course Games only has like 700 followers. So it's not like there's 10,000 people sitting there as a captive audience. And I miss being able to interact on Facebook. The Facebook interaction is a little bit easier. YouTube right now, I'm thankful that Finger Lakes 1 has given us the opportunities with as crazy as the schedule as it has been sometimes. But when that computer crashed, I didn't know where we were going to go because we lost everything. That's if it's not on YouTube or not on Facebook, then it's not going to be there because it's gone. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, 400 is a big number.
Yeah, and we've been blessed, since this started. I mean, the places we've been and the shows we've seen and the people we've met. And, if I look in a crystal ball, I think there might be some surprises coming from Crash Course that could be interesting. So just stay tuned because I don't think we're done yet.
No. We are now, though. There's never not a reason to, whoops, I hit the wrong button. There's never not a reason for optimism, I suppose. We're still trying some new stuff. However, we endured quite the setback today. The graphics computer that all the roof signs and everything, a lot of the magazines, a lot of the T-shirt graphics and all that other archive, it got knocked off my desk at school today, and it pancaked on the bottom, and I don't know what's going to happen with that computer. It will boot up partway sometimes. So I don't know if I'm going to have to pop the memory out and put those in a remote hard drive case so I can still access that stuff or what's going to happen. But
so does that mean that it's going to take you a little more time to make my sign I need for the Father's Day weekend show?
No.
Okay.
No. I need to do that. I couldn't do that on the other computer, though.
My kid asked me again, hey, have you talked to Chris about a sign? I said, yeah, but he's a busy man. He's got stuff going on, and, it's Chris Marquardt.
That was a pit in my stomach when that thing started sounding like a jet.
I bet.
But that computer's been around for a long time. It's been a really, really good machine, and that was the backup streamer to the original streaming computer that is now just it's a shell of itself. The kids have got that thing. It's all set up for Minecraft and Fortnite and stuff. So I'm sure that will never come out to a derby again because I wouldn't trust it being able to tolerate it after all of the abuse that it's been through. But this thing was going to be the primary streamer for some of the gaming stuff that I was doing, and now we got to figure out a way to rebuild on the computer side of things. But all things in time. No reason to fret over it yet, I suppose.
Absolutely.
It did hit pretty hard.
Stick a fork in it.
Yep, it did hit pretty hard. I was not happy. Oh, well. 400 in the books. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you does it no justice to be able to do this many times with this much of a following and in so many different places. I know I would forget people to even begin naming names and extending appreciation, but if you have been on the path that has helped Crash Course continue on and been on the path that has helped continue to make Derby better as a whole, I appreciate it, and that still maintains to this day about trying to leave Demolition Derby better than we found it, and that's always been mission number one. I think we've been able to do that for 400 episodes. However, I'm not going to sit here and say, and here's to another 400 more, because that's
here's to another 400 more.
Oh my God. But that's going to do it for us on this one. They also pointed out that the reason we're not on cable access anymore is because we always go long. Here it is, 20 after 7. That's going to do it. We'll see everybody later.
Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.